Are you ready to catch a healthy habit? Of course you are. Let's talk more with people that believe first and foremost that living healthy is a way of life. How do the experts weigh in on catching a healthy habit? Hear firsthand from doctors, nutritionists, health coaches, and more. Time to get started. Here's your host, Glenn Colello.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of the Catch a Healthy Habit podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Colello, and today's guest, Kevin W. Reese, has guided and inspired thousands of people to take control of their lives through his seminars, books, and coaching programs. Kevin holds degrees and certifications from Eastern Connecticut State University, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, the International School of Detoxification, and is currently working toward his doctorate at the University of Natural Health. Kevin has also authored 3 health books, the third of which, The People vs. Chronic Illness, The Secret Evidence, Knowledge, and Solution to Becoming Pain and Drug-Free, is our topic of discussion today and has just been released to the public. I hope you enjoy, and there's tons of value in today's discussion. Okay, Glenn Colello, and we're back. I'm actually in Middletown, Connecticut. I'm on the road for this amazing guest, a good friend, and he is authoring books. He's helping people, and he's got a great story to tell. So we're gonna get going with it, Kevin. Kevin Reese. So why don't you kind of give us a little background on kind of where you were maybe 10 years ago before this journey kind of got going for you. Talk about it like kind of like past life stuff.
Past life stuff. Okay. Well, before I was helping people overcome their chronic illnesses, I was suffering from chronic illnesses. I was in the radio business and living kind of a fast-paced life, and definitely overweight, and back and forth to the emergency room, back and forth to the doctor. I had a heart attack scare at 28 years old. I was high out of my mind at the time, but even still, I was kind of like, wait a second. I was smoking weed for a while, and I never felt like this, so something was wrong. So I went outside to have a cigarette, and I was just like, maybe I'm just going to die right now. I thought I was having a heart attack, and it was in that moment that I said to myself, man, I'm really unhealthy, and I have heart issues in my family. My dad had open heart at 47. His dad died on the operating table at 55. And there I was at 28 years old, like, this isn't going to end well. So after going back and forth to the doctor, and I ended up on heart monitors, 28 years old. I was on the radio. I'm a local public figure, celebrity. You can't flirt with girls with heart monitors on, man, Wow. So I had to turn it around. And I did. And it started with a lot of research, and I started diving into fasting and the power of fruit and things like that. And then one day I got introduced to Dr. Robert Morse. And I went down to Florida, studied with him, and I went to even more schools and got myself educated on how to do this. And I started taking clients. And next thing you know, I'm helping people. This is way back in, 2011.
So let's look at the timeline. What was the heart scare? Give us that time frame.
That was I was 28, so that was 2008.
So 2008, and you had been in the kind of radio shock jock business for how long?
At that time, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about that Dr. Morris research. What were some of the books, some of the pamphlets, some of the stuff, or some of the people you came across that kept you interested in there's something here?
Professor Arnold Ehret. I was reading his books. I was reading Dr. Walker, Dr. Shelton, Gandhi, MK Gandhi. Gandhi was all about fruit, we just, everything else he did overshadows it, but he was all about experimenting with his body, and he was in pretty good health. He was assassinated, so he didn't die from poor health. But all these guys, I studied all of them, but Dr. Morse was the biggest influence because I actually studied with him and was able to shake his hand and talk to him, and he's huge now. He wasn't as big back then, but he is now. And also studied Dr. Sebi and all these guys. And
he's no longer with us.
Yeah, Sebi's been dead for about a year and a half, 2 years now.
Yeah.
And that's who I get compared to the most, too, when I meet people. They're like, oh, you're like Dr. Sebi. So he's clearly laid down one heck of a legacy for himself.
And what would be the comparison? What makes people say that?
I think it's the results. There's Glenn, there's a lot of people out there that say they know what they're doing, and they have no testimonials. Mm-hmm. And when I say testimonials, I mean video. Give me video. We're in a new era. Like proof, you have to see it, And Dr. Sebi had a lot of testimonials back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s. And that's what kind of put him on the map. And then he worked with Left Eye Lopez from TLC, and that helped his career. And he worked with Michael Jackson as well. And so I just, when I got into it, I used to get written testimonials. And then one day, quick story, this is about 2 years ago, I received a text message from an old client of mine. Her name is Kim. And she says, Kevin, I just wanted to randomly contact you and say thank you. And I'm like, okay, thank you. What did I do? She goes, well, there's something I didn't tell you. I'm like, what? She goes, well, when I hired you and we worked together, I was pregnant. I was like, oh, because I usually don't take pregnant clients because it's problematic, right? But she's like, I didn't want to tell you. She was like, I had a tumor the size of a grapefruit that was blocking the birth canal. And the doctor told me I was going to bleed out during childbirth and I was going to die. And she was like, working with you, it completely shrunk in 3 months. And she sent me pictures of her kid. She's like, this kid's here because of you.
And she's here because of you.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, this is out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. And she didn't tell me when it was happening. And I said, Kim, show me the scans. Do you have she has the scans. She has the actual scans of the tumor. So I'm like, let's show this. So she does it through her phone. She does a little video through her phone. And she talks. And she shows me, and she kind of narrates it. And me being a media guy, old school media guy, I was like, oh my gosh, this is on video. So I threw it into my editing program, and I whipped up a little 60-second thing. And I put it out on social media, and people went nuts. People called me, oh my God, I cried. You made me cry, and what a story. And it was at that moment that I realized that all the people that have healed need to be on video. If they're not on video, it never happened. It only happened. The only people that know is me and that person, which is cool. It's better than nothing, of course. But in order to make an impact, you have to have it on video. And that's when the birth of this book that I have out now, The People versus Chronic Illness, that was the birth of that book, because I said, I'm going to get everyone on video. And that's exactly what I did. I ran them through my program, got them on video, and then transcribed it into the book. So Kim, wherever she is, thank you. It was that day. So anyway, your original question is, why do I get compared to Dr. Sebi? And I think that's why. Legit proof.
All right, well, let's delve into the book. It's called The People versus Chronic Illness.
Yeah.
By the time this podcast is released, the book will be out.
Yeah.
So you shared one story with us about how many how many stories do you have included in the book?
There's 15 in there, including myself. Not everyone wanted to be on video, but so I got 14 people in there. One of them is Griselle from Hartford, who she was so messed up, man. Lupus, migraines for 14 years, rheumatoid arthritis. She couldn't leave the house. She's a Puerto Rican woman, okay? You know anything about that culture? They party. Family parties every weekend. She couldn't go. She couldn't go to her family party. She had 5 kids, 7 grandkids. Her life was done. Her social life was over, and she was suffering. And she did my program. She came to a seminar of mine, and that's what made her start believing. And then she did my program, and within six weeks, the migraines are gone. And migraines are our biggest success. Migraines are like nothing.
Yeah.
And then everything else started going away. She was on 16 medications. At the end of the program, she was on 0. 16 meds to 0. That is like, whew. And of course, the doctor's scared out of their mind. Some of them are like, wow, keep doing what you're doing. And other ones are like, no, I don't think you should do that. And they put her down as a non-compliant patient. So now she's running around Hartford telling everyone about the book, and so it's just amazing that she went from she was that sick, and now you just can't stop her from moving around.
So let's take that thought a little bit. I watched a video earlier today in preparation for this with you and Dr. Morris, and I think you asked him kind of a similar question into the fact that, why don't doctors know about this, or why don't they prescribe, some of these dietary, situations that me and really work? And what's the thought process around that? Or what's let's say I have an opinion, what would be your opinion why the medical profession isn't necessarily making books like this, because they don't really have the track record?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's in the book too. The stories of the 14 people are pretty long, and in there they talk about their situations with their doctors. It's really revealing. So that's a great question, Glenn. I don't think it's the doctor's fault. It's the establishment. It's what's called the medical mafia. That's that's the AMA, that's med school, that's big pharma, health insurance. It all kind of comes around into a big mob. And I think they realize that they can make a lot of money off of sick people. And big pharma is getting it while they can, because they're not going to get it much longer. They got 10 years left, max. And it's over. Everything comes to an end.
And so expand on that. Like how...
People are waking up.
Okay.
People are waking up. And, Dr. Sebi laid down his legacy, and Dr. Morris is laying down an incredible legacy right now. My legacy isn't as deep as theirs, but, I hope that this book helps. If this book gets out there, then, more people will understand. People are waking up. And it's beyond being vegan. The vegan thing is... It's the word I'm looking for. It's a bit clouded. Because, you're not necessarily going to go vegan and heal from all these things. It's deeper than that. I like to say vegan is for the animals. But, I think that if you look at the numbers, it's interesting to see that we're living longer. I'll just say Americans, because I can't speak for other countries. But we're living longer. We're living till 78 years old right now. That's a long time compared to 100 years ago. But we're sicker.
Yeah.
So they're making more money because they're keeping us alive, but we have to do it with pills and procedures. The 3 P's: pills, procedures, and protein. Pills, procedures, and protein. Tons of money, dude. Those 3 P's are making billions.
So pills and procedure are kind of obvious. The operations, the medications, and the treatments. What's the protein part of it? Is it just excess animal protein? That's
all protein.
Okay.
All protein. It's just we're just not supposed to consume that much. And vegans are at fault too, throwing their powders down their smoothies and stuff, and I gotta get 100 grams. No, you don't. And we're just not, our kidneys aren't designed for it. Our kidneys are designed for alkaline material like fruits and vegetables. And the interesting thing about protein is it's another work. It's another socially engineered thing, because the scientific term is proteins with an S. Somebody took the S off and made it into a macronutrient. Proteins, if we look it up in the dictionary right now, it will tell you proteins are nitrogen-based amino acids that form hormones, neurotransmitters, enzymes. It's not steak.
Yeah.
It's not powder. So the original term is plural, proteins, with an S.
And that would be predominantly just taking in plant food, plants.
It's made inside of us.
Okay.
Proteins are made inside of us. So there's no reason to consume any protein. It's automatically in the food. It's automatically in everything that we eat. Whether you're eating apples, whether you're eating kale, whether you're eating steak, there's proteins in there. Something like steak or protein powders or chicken, those are really, really long chains that have a hard time breaking down in the body. So it's, protein, unlike fat, doesn't get stored. So you basically have to pee it out. This is why a lot of people have urinary tract infections, and they feel a little sting when they pee sometimes, right? That's the protein coming out, the acids, and I don't know, they're just making a bundle. But hey, just like any capitalist, you got to get it while you can, because it ain't gonna be much longer.
So let's go back to the book. Let's hear another story or two that
Sure.
speaks to your work.
Amber's a great story. Amber's a young woman. She's 31 now. When she was 23, she was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and they told her it was genetic, and so they put her on blood pressure medicine. When she came to me, she had been on blood pressure medicine for 7 years, and she had high anxiety because she thought she was going to die. She had high blood pressure that young. High blood pressure is a scary thing, Sometimes you get woozy, it's just not good. And she was legit scared. She also had lumps on her legs. She had chronic migraines. She was a mess for a 30-year-old girl. Well, she shocked her doctor. The doctor didn't know what to say. They legitimately had to take her off the blood pressure medicine because she was getting faint and woozy because the blood pressure was too low. So it was like the food and my herbal teas were coming together with the medicine, and now the blood pressure is too low. Now the doctor's like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. You've had high blood pressure for 7 years. Whatever you're doing must be working. So let's take you off the medicine. Boom. Blood pressure shot back up to normal. The lumps on her leg went away. Migraines went away. What are you going to do?
So
it's pretty cool stuff.
We'll get a little bit more into...
And
okay.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
And she couldn't get pregnant. Now she's pregnant.
Okay.
So I got a few babies running around there, Glenn. And I never even touch them. A lot of women come who can't have babies, and they do the program, and then boom, pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, hence 20 years ago, there probably weren't any places you can go to from a medical situation get pregnant. Now it's so much of an issue that these places are all over the place, and women are trying all these different
ways. And all you got to do is do my program in the book and you'll get pregnant.
Wow.
It's just, hey man, there's no.
So let's break down some of the kind of common denominators. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
We know that, but there's certain common denominators that just, if somebody's seeking help and they're coming to somebody like you, or they're constantly eating at Catch a Healthy Habit Cafe, or they're going to naturopathic physicians and they're looking for help. What are some of the almost things that generically can be said to anybody?
Fruit. There's nothing, it's the biggest piece of advice I could ever give. Not just somebody seeking health, but just anybody. We're in a library right now. We could walk out of this room, I could walk up to strangers and just tell them, eat fruit, eat fruit, eat fruit. It's the biggest advice I can give anybody, because it was designed for human beings and apes. It's a species specific food that brings us back to our natural state. And that's the key and the core to my whole program in the book. It's fruit. And mono fruit meals. Not just, you don't just have an apple as a snack. You have 4 apples as a meal. You have to change your mind state and say, this is my meal. Just a few hours ago, I had a meal of plums. Okay. So, I had 5 plums. That's my meal. That's the meal. It's not a snack. It's a meal. It's our food. That's why we have long arms and thumbs, so we can reach and grab and peel.
So I get this question a lot at the cafe. People walk in, I don't know, we open at 8. They walk in, it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock or something like that. What do you guys have on the menu for breakfast? What can I have for breakfast?
Right.
So how do you break into some of these mental habits that people have come across, because meals have been named and certain meals are supposed to be eaten at certain points of the day? When they come in and I have some time to spend with them, and I think they're going to listen and understand and take in the information. Breakfast is breaking the fast.
Right.
So
breakfast,
light,
right,
juice, fruit.
Yeah.
But people want the equivalent to pancakes or like a cereal or something like that.
Right.
So how do you articulate that to people that, hey, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner are done.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about nutrient dense type of food consumption.
Yeah. I if you're going to eat breakfast, I would say a mono fruit meal. I would also say a mono fruit meal for lunch. I'm all about the fruit.
Okay.
The closer you can get to fruitarianism, the better. But if some people don't eat breakfast, I don't eat breakfast. I intermittent fast every day, and that's even during my workout. So I'll eat, my mono fruit meal after my workout, which is, 4 or 5 hours after I wake up. So everyone's different though, but yeah, you're breaking fast. You don't want to shock your body. Eggs and sausage is going to shock your body.
Right.
And we got people out there right now being shocked every day.
Every day, sometimes 3 times a day.
Oh my gosh, it's just bad.
Let's go back. Let's unravel that intermittent fasting. So that pretty much means whatever time you finish eating in the evening, hopefully a couple hours to 3 hours before bed.
Yeah.
You wake up, and then you're looking at sometime between 12 to 16 hours after you ate the previous evening, slept through, and then wake up. But you're consuming something. So you're taking in a little water there.
Yeah.
Are you, just lubricating up a little bit, and then trying to get on with your day, get through a workout, and then begin the cycle? Exactly.
Coconut water is great. It's a little pricey, but but I wish they made fountains of it,
Yeah.
It's just, what's better than coconut water? I don't know. You nailed it. lubricate up, hydrate. That's it.
And let's go back to your story. We're jumping around a little bit, but let's go
That's
back
cool.
to your story
Sure.
with your weight numbers. Because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you go back and you look at a lot of the interviews you did back in the day, and you were kind of the radio scene, the rap scene and
Mhm.
whatnot. A lot of people you interviewed are now like big time and all that
Drake. He's huge, isn't he?
stuff. He is.
I interviewed him before his album came out, his first album.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
He's in the NBA now and doing all kinds of stuff with the NBA.
Nicki Minaj is pretty big now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's cool to look back. But you weren't as slender as
Right.
you are now.
Right.
So when did you get that right away? Was the fruit like in the foundational part of your change?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. My weight fell off so fast. Just within 2 months, I was just a changed man. And then I went to the radio station and everyone was like, what the heck happened? And that's when people started asking questions, and that's when I started getting into it because I started helping some of my peers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of like this. Maybe I could do this as a career. And that's when I started going to school and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the weight came off fast.
And how did it feel? Like let's talk about the difference in how people saw you and how people reacted to you and the compliments just because you lost 10, 15, 20 pounds or whatever that number is, which doesn't really matter, but the people's perception of that.
It was 80 pounds.
80 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge perception because people are obsessed with vanity and the way they look. So they weren't like, oh my gosh, Kevin, your cells must be regenerating, you know? Nobody has said that.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, definitely, there was definitely a shock. I definitely shocked a lot of people.
And, you know, the 80 pounds, and like, tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm right in making this statement, but there's absolutely no chance for you ever to, I mean, never say never, but it just seems like your lifestyle has completely changed to think you'll ever be 80 pounds overweight again is almost an impossibility.
I was talking to a girl this morning, actually, who I hadn't talked to in a long time. We were just catching up. And I told her I was going to be in Middletown today. And she's from Middletown. And she started telling me about this really good pizzeria in downtown. And I'm like, I don't eat pizza. And she's like, well, what? What kind of human being are you?
Yep.
And for me to make that statement, being such a pizza guy, 15 years ago, my whole life, no, there's no chance, Glenn. There's no chance because I'm a disciplined person. I've gotten rid of those things. I don't eat pizza. I don't eat vegan pizza. I don't believe in, believe is the wrong word. I myself, I don't even do what do they call them? Like the fake outs.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to eat vegan macaroni and cheese. I'm not going to eat vegan pizza or vegan cake. It's just not what I do. I eat fruit. I supplement with lightly cooked meals, potatoes, wild rice, quinoa, stuff like that. And that's it.
So this is a spot I always love to talk about because it's a big part of my story too when the change, in my lifestyle started to take place.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to, or how did your social life alter? How did you find a new set of friends who were open and willing to kind of do all this stuff? And, because I mean, you take going out for dinner, you take going out to the clubs, you take that away from your lifestyle. You personally don't want to do it anymore? It
was easy for me. Oh, I don't want to use the word easy, but it was easier for me because I'm a reclusive person. I'm a creative. So I'm in the house on the computer writing. I write novels. I write poetry. I'm Dr. Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang.
Okay.
I'm like him. I'm OCD. So I'm not out and about. I never enjoyed the clubs. I never, every now and again I'll go to a pool hall with my friends because I enjoy pool.
Okay.
And that's like once a month. That's it. I don't go out much. If I do, I'm walking around the neighborhood, or, I'm back and forth to the grocery store. I'm thinking about getting rid of my car, to be honest with you. I don't go anywhere, man. I work from home. I could have Ubered here to Middletown Library just as easy as drove.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as hard for me as it would be for a lot of other people. And also, Glenn, there's the detox. So when you detox, you go through symptoms. You go through healing events. They're unpleasant. So that was also an advantage for me. I was always home. So there was a period where I was home detoxing my brains out, worms coming out and parasites and, headaches where you just want to slam yourself against the wall, stuff like that.
Let's unpack that. The detox, was that done through juice fasting, water fasting, no eating?
I've done it all.
Yeah.
I've done it all. I've done water fasting, juice fasting. My philosophy was do it all on me so that I can guide people properly. So I used myself as a experiment many moons ago,
And what were some maybe outside things that maybe practitioners did on you, like colonics or acupuncture or anything like that? Did you also, play in that field too?
I did I only do colonics when I'm fasting.
Okay.
I don't see a point otherwise, unless you're obese. If you're very obese, then yeah, colonics would be good. But I only do them when I'm fasting. And let me tell you something. When you're 40 days without food and you see what's coming out of you, because colonics, you see it in the little window.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. When you see all that's coming out of you and you haven't eaten a morsel of food in 40 days, that just tells you everything you need to know right there. We are clogged up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're fit like LeBron James or you're super obese. You are clogged up. We're clogged up. We're the most clogged up species walking Earth.
And even that's like a testament to somebody who's eating pretty low on the food chain.
Yeah.
Like yourself. And when you do those fast and you do those colonics, it's still there.
Yeah.
There's still a show to watch.
Yeah. It's amazing, man. It's stuff like that, going back to your question a few minutes ago, it's stuff like that will make me never go back. The chances of me, eating a pizza on a Saturday night and, getting a calzone, this is how I used to live my life.
Yeah.
It's 97% never going to happen. I mean, I don't want to go back to that knowing what I know. It's a knowledge thing.
Yeah.
It's an awareness thing,
Yeah. It's sometimes it's hard to converse with certain people about it. Like once you know it and you feel it, like that cheese pizza it just doesn't really come into play anymore. That glass of milk,
right,
or Captain Crunch,
right.
Things where at one point in my life I would have said never will I'll always have Captain Crunch near me at some point.
That was your go-to?
Captain Crunch.
I was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, Captain Crunch. See, the thing about Captain Crunch is they had the original, they had the strawberry, they had the peanut butter. So you can have Captain Crunch.
You know the whole culture.
Yeah, so Captain Crunch was big for me. And then, of course, it was pasta. My mom's tomato
Italian
sauce and meatball. Yep.
Italian, right? Colello.
My mom's tomato sauce and meatballs, and that was the go-to. And then as I got into college and on my own, it became a little easier.
Right.
But it was still standard American. It was still chicken on the grill, frozen vegetables, lots of pasta.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take us a long time to continually cleanse from that.
Yeah.
Even as simple as we choose to eat.
Yeah, I've accepted it. I'll show up to a family function with a watermelon and just be the outcast. I tell students all the time, you have to be a unicorn amongst horses. And eventually the horses may want to grow a horn and some wings too.
And so we're hearing a siren behind us. And it kind of gets me into my next question is like...
Sound effects.
I mean, you've probably had friends, I've had friends aren't interested in listening.
Sure.
And then kind of end up paying the price.
Oh,
and
yeah.
How hard is that for you to
hard.
Know that you were there,
Very
willing,
hard.
and
Very
see
hard.
all the people that have healed themselves that you've helped.
It's very hard. And then it's this is one of the reasons why I'm sort of steering away from this business now. I've been doing it for 10 years, and I've realized that you have to be very spiritually advanced to be a healer. And I'm just not there. And I'm not afraid to admit that. Dr. Morris is there. I'm not there. Your ego gets attached to this type of stuff, what you just mentioned. So when you have a friend or even an associate who is doing bad things with their body, and you jump into the mix and you try to intervene, and you're like, hey man, listen, if you stop doing ABC and you start doing XYZ, you're gonna heal, and if you don't do it, you're gonna be really sick in a few years. Just do my program or listen to what I'm saying. And they don't. It hurts the ego too. And then there's also the factor of your ego is like, oh, well, they don't think I'm an expert because they're not listening to me. It's really hard, man.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm just not built for it.
Okay.
So that's why I put it all in a book. Take the book.
So we're not going to...
This happened, by the way,
Okay.
This happened the other day. A friend of mine, and I didn't even talk to him. He just, people like to share on Facebook. They put all their dirty laundry out there. So he's got diabetes now. He's only 3 years older than me. He's like 42, 43. He's got diabetes. He can't stop vomiting. His feet are swollen. This is a 42, 43-year-old guy. Never reached out. Must not think I know what I'm talking about. So that's what I mean. Is you want to help people, but your ego also gets attached because you know something that the average person doesn't.
Well, it's beyond know. It's in your case especially. It's experienced.
It's a gift and the curse. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was coming back from Florida after I learned from Dr. Robert Morris, I remember walking through the airport and looking at people and going, I know what's wrong with you. I know what's wrong with you. I know what's wrong with you. I could fix you. I could fix you. It's like I'm a surgeon or something, It's the gift and the curse. I felt like I was Superman with the vision there. What's it called? See-through vision or whatever. That's how it felt.
Okay.
And at the time, it felt good. Now it doesn't feel so good.
And
I can't imagine what Mr. Medical Medium goes through.
That's kind
he's got a ghost following him around.
Well, a little bit about the medical medium in what I'm hearing from you is something very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of went away from spending time on the phone with individual clients, because he wanted to get his word out in a bigger, broader way, and thought he can help more people with podcasting.
And it worked.
With this, and he's
the biggest thing going
right now.
Popularity wise, he's
right
the biggest
now
thing
he
going.
is,
I don't know about his results, but
yeah. I mean, I've got staff members. I've got people coming in daily and getting celery juice to start their morning, and that shift. I'm watching the people that have come in. Those are smoothie bowls or smoothies or different types of things, and now they're settling for a glass of celery juice. Right. And so that has rebooted their mindset on how to start the day.
And that's cool. I don't know if that. I mean, I don't know if that's going to heal people, but that's shifting the thought. So
yeah, and I think
consciousness.
I'm seeing people. Not necessarily that are in the mindset of I've got this and I need to be healed, but they know they're seeing the results in his book and in his teachings that people are getting better, and I think people are just willing to take in this and try what's going on here. So
that he was an inspiration to me, business wise, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to put this book out.
And he's also bringing fruit back. He's making fruit,
that's good.
Cool again, because there are speakers and people that I've gone to listen to that are way heavier on the leafy greens and the wheatgrass and things like that. That I would imagine that.
I've also had other practitioners mention to me that they feel like he's cheating. So it's a very interesting dynamic, because if you know his story, he claims to have a spirit following him around,
Right.
telling him what to do. So he's not a practitioner. He's an advocate. He's a medium. He's the middleman.
Yeah, he's the medical
Medium.
He's
A lot of
just-
people don't know that.
Right.
He's just so popular. They're just like, oh, this medical medium guy, you know? And I don't really have an opinion on it, but he's huge. He's huge. But he didn't go to school and, like I did or anything like that. Or,
Well, he's using this medium
right.
as just 10 years from now, the knowledge, the experiments and the studies will all catch up
Right.
to what he's being able to share because
Right.
of the medium capability. So
Let's hope so.
yeah, we'll see.
Whatever to help, whatever to help. But definitely, that's why I put it in this book. I didn't hold anything back. My last book in 2015, I held back because the whole goal was to gain clients, right? Now I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not taking any more clients. I'm not going to create a new program. This is it. I created a program. I ran people through it. The results are there. It's all in the book. The program's in the book.
The program's in the book.
They can do it on their own.
And is there, quote unquote, like support Facebook groups or things like that?
There's a
where people-
Facebook group, private Facebook group that's in the book that people can go into, and they can meet all the people that have healed and, have a little support system.
And where are you on social media? How are you tapping into that to get the word out about the book, get the word out about you, or are you on hold right now?
That's the hardest part, man.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating part. That's the part that makes me want to go off the grid, go live at an ashram, and you'll never hear from me again. It's so frustrating. And I'm sure Medical Medium doesn't do his own social media. He probably hired somebody.
Right.
It's hard. And when you put an earth-shattering post out there that could save lives and it only gets, 15 likes, it's like, well, what am I doing this for,
Right.
And that's what I was just saying to you a few minutes ago about the ego.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I don't know how one can become enlightened and still promote. It's like, I don't even know if it's possible. Because in order to become enlightened and become one with pure consciousness, you have to not care about that.
Right. Yeah.
So it's this one big contradiction.
Yeah.
And I'd love for somebody to just pop up and be like, Kevin, pay me such and such, and I'll get it going on the internet. You don't even worry about it. Because I'm so sick of social media, Glenn.
Yeah.
I really am. And keep in mind, I've been doing it since its birth. AOL Instant Messenger. I used to go on the radio as a 21-year-old kid and say, hit me up on AOL Instant Messenger. AIM. Do you remember AIM?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's before MySpace, never mind Facebook. So I've been doing this social media thing from the very beginning, and it's kind of exhausting.
Okay.
It's not as good. It's not as good of a way to get your message out there as it was 5 years ago, because they changed all the algorithms and everything's different now, and you have to pay to play. So you got to run ads and stuff like that. And I don't know how Medical Medium did it, or Wolf. They have huge followings online.
Right.
But it's kind of the Michael Jordan syndrome. It looks easy, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. To answer your question, man, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but we put out posts every day, and hopefully we just reach who we reach. But the following isn't, like the guys I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But you look at Dr. Robert Morris. When I met him, he didn't have that big of a following. No, he's big. He's huge, and he don't mess with the internet
Okay.
at all.
Hmm.
It just happened for him.
Yeah.
It just happened. Word of mouth. Somebody mentions it, So, I don't know, man. Maybe it just happens how it's supposed to be. But that's one of the reasons why I'm moving on. This book, The People versus Chronic Illness, it's kind of my swan song in the field of healing. There's nothing more that I can do. I'm not going to open a clinic. I'm not going to take on more clients. I got a guy right now begging me to take his brother, who's an HIV patient. He's begging me and offering me a lot of money. And I just can't do it.
Okay.
I just can't do it. Could I help him? Yeah. I could.
But he can also help himself by kind of reading the book and.
Some people don't want to. Some
Yeah.
people want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
It's this really weird dynamic.
And can you see YouTube videos or podcasting or things like that help to, as you create more content, even get the word out to more people?
Yeah. I think ultimately what's going to get the word out there is just word of mouth.
Yeah.
Old school, classic word of mouth. So, I just want to push this book and see what happens.
And will you do some local kind of book signings or talks about the book? Or?
I might. I'm also a novelist. So there's,
Okay.
my heart wants to write fiction.
Yeah. I always thought, and I'm sure there's some out there, but fiction books about the system that me and you know.
Yeah.
Is,
No, my first novel is called The Making of the Albertan Enigma, and there's all these conspiracy things slipped in there. Fruit slipped in there. It's all, but it's edutainment, it's entertainment and education. And, look at The Matrix.
Yeah.
Look at Star Wars. I always tell people, if you want to know about life, watch every Star Wars movie ever made in order. You'll know everything you need to know about life.
Yeah.
Yoda, dropping knowledge all the time. I mean, is it real? No, it's not real. But, the Force, becoming one with the Force, learning how to, that's all metaphors for becoming enlightened and, being a monk or a mystic or, stuff like that, So.
And how could people who've heard this and now want to kind of check into you and follow you and do this social media thing, how can they follow you? What are the handles and where can they find you?
At Kevin W. Reese on Instagram.
Okay.
At Kevin W. Reese on Facebook. Or Amazon me.
Okay.
I'm merging into an author role. Because like I told you earlier, I'm a pretty reclusive guy. So it fits me perfectly. Just sit at home and write books.
Yeah.
And I can do it pretty fast and furious. So that's it. That Amazon me. Back in the day, it was cool to be like, Google me. Now it's just Amazon me. Okay. Amazon me. All my books are there. The People versus Chronic Illness. It's on Amazon right now. It's the secret evidence, knowledge, and solution to becoming pain and drug-free. And all the stories are in there. And, just read it. Do the program in the back if you want or don't. And hopefully, Glenn, it's one of those books where people will pass on, They'll tell their friend, look, you got to read this book.
Right.
You got to read this book. You've had migraines for 10 years. Read this book.
Yeah, because it's proof. I mean, it's
legit.
Worked. It's worked.
It's legit.
You've got, like you said, 14 or 15 documented situations where people have done the program.
Yep.
And
backed up by video.
Okay. Well, talk to me about the video. Where is that coming into play? That's just something you have?
It's all on my YouTube page.
Okay.
It's all on my YouTube page. I interviewed all these people.
So there's almost a video version to the book in different pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I took that and I paid a company to transcribe it.
Wow.
So the first half of the book is all transcription from video, which is why the grammar is all crazy. Because we talk different than we write.
Yeah. Wow.
We really do. It's kind of weird when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first half of the book is all transcription, and you're gonna meet these people and their stories and how they had to deal with their family and how they had to deal with their doctors. The doctor stories are crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty
The
cool.
doctor stories are crazy. One girl, Sissy, from Ohio. I don't even remember how she found me, but she couldn't walk. She couldn't walk. She was bedbound. She couldn't use the bathroom. She was severely constipated. She had transverse myelitis. It just hit her, and her blood pressure was so high. She thought she was gonna die. She did the program. Halfway into the program, man, she's up and running. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
All right.
It's cool stuff. It's. I'm satisfied with it, which is why I can walk away from it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. So the people versus chronic illness.
Yeah.
Again, I like that little line underneath. Where you got a lady on the cover with her hands up in the air, like she's taking in the light, and she's seen the light, so to say.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. You got the sunlight, the sun coming up, so that's a metaphor for my brand, Eat the Sunlight. And the reason why I chose a lady is because they're all women.
Okay.
Men suck. I'll tell you right now, man. Men never make it. I'm waiting for a dude to do this program and be like, Kevin, I did it, and my migraines are gone. But it doesn't happen for some reason.
Wow.
Men always tap out. They tap out after a few weeks. Like, I can't do it, man. I need my pizza, man. I can't do it. Because women are better with change.
And I think they like the cover. They can see the light.
Right.
Yeah.
Women are way more powerful than men. We're more physically powerful in most cases, but they're freaking, I don't know, man.
And we need the women to make the world go round.
We need women to make the world go. Shout out to all the women out there.
Yeah.
We need you.
The secret evidence, knowledge, and solution to becoming free.
Yeah.
Pain
and drug free.
To becoming pain and drug free.
Yeah, because so many people are off their meds. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big cog in people's systems is side effects from the drugs. So.
Yeah, and I break it down in the book how they socially engineer us to take these pills, and yeah, man, it's all there.
Yeah. So Kevin W. Reese, I got a feeling we're going to be doing this again.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sure there are going to be some more projects in this kind of world of helping people.
You know what you should do? I was just thinking while we were doing this podcast. You should air the podcast live at the cafe and do events. It's like a replacement for a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's cool. You have a podcast party? Woo!
Yeah. Well, we're going to have you come and do it.
Podcast
party. There you go.
Air each episode.
Could be something fun to do.
And serve juices or whatever. And
there you go.
Yeah, man.
Kevin W. Reese, thanks for spending some time.
Thank you very much.
It's been great, and I look forward to success with this People versus Chronic Illness.
On Amazon right now.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 4 of the Catch a Healthy Habit podcast. Kevin Reese can be found on all the social media sites at Kevin W. Reese. Highly recommend checking out his YouTube page because right there his most recent videos are the 14 people that told their stories of them curing their debilitating diseases on Kevin's program. Those are the stories that were transcribed and are in the book. But with that being said, I also totally recommend getting the book People versus Chronic Illness. There's so much more to it than just those stories. And again, today's episode was brought to you by Catch a Healthy Habit Cafe, located in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's Connecticut's only all raw food cafe.